The awakening. The orbital defense platforms around Earth fell one by one, their destruction painting brief, brilliant flashes against the void of space. Within the Emergency Command Center beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Y. Harrison watched in grim silence as the holographic displays showed humanity's last line of defense crumbling before the Valkyrie armada. Triton Station gone. Luna Base overrun. Orbital ring defense grid at 12% capacity and falling, reported Colonel Alves, her voice steady despite the catastrophic news she delivered. General Harrison's weathered face remained impassive. And Project Thunderstrike. Final preparations complete. Captain Chen reports green across all systems. Harrison nodded, eyes fixed on the red icons representing the alien vessels. The Valkyrie had appeared 3 weeks ago, their massive fleet emerging from what scientists had called a fold space rupture near Jupiter. Their demands had been simple: Earth's immediate surrender and the placement of humanity under their protective custody. When Earth's United Council had refused, the Valkyrie response had been swift and merciless. "Patch me through to the Thunderstrike," Harrison ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing the bridge of humanity's last hope. Unlike the utilitarian design of standard military vessels, the Thunderstrike's command center resembled something between a meditation chamber and an advanced medical facility. At its center stood Captain Maya Chen, a slender woman whose calm demeanor belied the enormity of the task before her. "General," she acknowledged with a slight nod. "They've broken through our outer defenses, Captain. It's time." "Understood, sir. Thunderstrike is combat ready." Harrison hesitated, then added, "The fate of our species rests with you, Captain. Godspeed." As the transmission ended, Maya turned to her crew. 12 men and women selected not for their military experience, but for their unique neurological profiles and mental compatibility. "Initiating launch sequence," announced Lieutenant Sato from his position at the navigation console. "Docking clamps released. Magnetic moorings disengage." Deep within the hidden lunar facility on the far side of the moon, massive doors slid open, revealing Earth's secret weapon. The Thunderstrike didn't look like a conventional warship. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent sheen that seemed to shift colors as it moved, the result of the quantum-entangled nanomaterials that formed its outer skin. No harsh angles or intimidating weapon ports marred its sleek, almost organic design. "We are clear of the dock," Sato reported. "All systems nominal." Maya nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of the neural interface nodes embedded throughout the bridge. "All crew, prepare for synchronization." Throughout the ship, the 12 crew members assumed meditation postures at their stations. Unlike traditional spacecraft where each officer controlled specific systems, the Thunderstrike operated on an entirely different principle. Project Thunderstrike represented the culmination of decades of classified research into human consciousness and quantum physics, a ship that didn't merely respond to its crew's commands, but became an extension of their collective minds. "Synchronization protocols initializing," announced Dr. Ileana Reeves, the ship's neural science officer. "Brain activity patterns aligning. Quantum field stabilizing." Maya closed her eyes, feeling the familiar sensation of her consciousness expanding beyond the confines of her physical body. The neural interface didn't merely read their brain patterns, it created a quantum entanglement between their minds and the ship's systems. In orbit around Earth, Supreme Commander Vexnar of the Valkyrie Dominion observed the approaching human vessel with disdain. His flagship, the Inexorable Dominance, dwarfed the lone craft that emerged from behind the moon. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting unusual energy readings from the human vessel," reported his sensor officer, the ridges along his scaled face pulsing with concern. "Elaborate," Vexnar commanded, his 6 eyes narrowing. "The signature doesn't match any known human technology. There's some form of quantum field emanating from the hull, and the energy patterns, they're almost organic in nature." Vexnar clicked his mandibles in amusement. "So they've managed one final technological surprise. Impressive, but futile." open a communication channel. Let us hear their pleas for mercy before we demonstrate true power." The main view screen flickered to life, showing Captain Chen. Unlike their previous encounters with human military officers, she displayed no fear, no desperation, only a strange serenity that momentarily disquieted the Valkyrie commander. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the TSS Thunderstrike," she stated calmly. "Your forces will withdraw from Earth space immediately." Laughter rippled through the Valkyrie command deck. Vexnar's upper limbs gesticulated in amusement. "With what army, human? Your defenses are broken. Your world stands unprotected before the might of the Valkyrie Dominion." "This is your only warning," Maya replied, her voice taking on an unusual harmonic quality. "We are humanity's sword and shield. We are Thunderstrike." As the transmission ended, Vexnar turned to his tactical officer. "Target that vessel and destroy it. Then prepare the planetary subjugation protocols." Aboard the Thunderstrike, the synchronization reached completion. Maya no longer perceived herself as separate from her crew or the ship. They had become a single consciousness distributed across multiple bodies and the quantum-entangled systems of the vessel. They were no longer 12 individuals controlling a machine. They were the Thunderstrike. The sensation was beyond description. A perfect union of human intuition, emotion, and creativity with machine precision and capability. Through the quantum-entangled nanomaterials of the hull, they could feel the approaching Valkyrie weapons fire, as one might sense a change in air pressure before a storm. As the first volley of Valkyrie energy weapons streaked toward them, the Thunderstrike moved with impossible grace. Not the calculated evasion of programmed algorithms, but the instinctive, fluid motion of a living being. The alien weapons missed by mere meters, their energy dissipating harmlessly into space. "Impossible," Vexnar hissed as he watched the human vessel evade attacks that should have been unavoidable. "No pilot can react that quickly." "Sir, the human ship has no traditional propulsion exhaust," the sensor officer reported, his voice tight with confusion. "The hull itself seems to be shifting, propelling the vessel through localized space-time manipulations." "Launch fighter squadrons," Vexnar ordered. "Surround and overwhelm it." As hundreds of Valkyrie strike craft poured from the larger vessels, the collective consciousness of the Thunderstrike perceived them not as data on tactical displays, but as an intuitive awareness of threats and opportunities in three-dimensional space. The neural link translated this awareness into action with zero latency, allowing the ship to move with a speed and precision no conventional vessel could match. The Thunderstrike accelerated toward the Valkyrie fleet, its hull now rippling with blue-white energy. As the alien fighters converged, the ship's quantum field expanded, creating afterimages that confused the Valkyrie targeting systems. It wasn't merely evading. It was dancing between enemy vessels with an almost artistic precision. "What manner of technology is this?" Vexnar demanded as his fighters reported inability to lock onto the target. When the Thunderstrike finally struck back, it wasn't with conventional weapons. Pulses of focused quantum energy emanated from its hull, not targeting the Valkyrie ship's weapons or propulsion systems, but interfering with the neural interfaced biotechnology that formed the core of their systems. One by one, fighter craft went dark, drifting helplessly in space. Through their unified consciousness, Maya and her crew understood the alien technology in ways the Valkyrie themselves did not. The synchronization didn't merely enhance their reaction time. It granted them insights, intuitive leaps of understanding that allowed them to perceive weaknesses and vulnerabilities no individual human mind could have discerned. As the Thunderstrike carved a path through the disabled fighter screen toward the main fleet, Vexnar stared in growing horror at what should have been impossible. For the first time in his 3-century existence, the supreme commander of the Valkyrie Dominion felt fear. "All vessels," he commanded, "concentrate fire on that ship. Nothing survives." The reckoning. The combined firepower of 30 Valkyrie capital ships converged on the Thunderstrike, a storm of destructive energy that would have vaporized a small moon. Yet somehow, impossibly, the human vessel's quantum field expanded, absorbing and dispersing the attack. The blue-white aura surrounding the ship intensified, pulsing with power drawn from the very weapons meant to destroy it. "They're converting our energy weapons into usable power," reported the Valkyrie science officer, mandibles clicking rapidly in distress. "The quantum field is becoming exponentially stronger with each attack." Vexenar's compound eyes widened as understanding dawned. "Cease fire immediately." But the order came too late. The Thunderstrike had already absorbed enough energy to initiate its counteroffensive. The ship accelerated to impossible speeds, becoming a streak of blue-white light as it cut through the heart of the Valkyrie formation. Each vessel it passed experienced the same phenomenon: a momentary disruption of their quantum fields, followed by complete systems failure. Within the collective consciousness of the Thunderstrike, Maya and her crew perceived the battle not as a conflict between opposing forces, but as a complex, multidimensional puzzle. They didn't think in terms of targets and weapons, but of energy flows and probability fields. Each Valkyrie ship presented a unique pattern of vulnerabilities, neural pathways that could be disrupted with precision quantum pulses. "Our ships are going dark one by one," the tactical officer reported to Vexenar, panic evident in his voice. "No physical damage, but all systems are shutting down. Life support remains operational, but weapons, propulsion, communications, all disabled." Vexenar stared at the tactical display in disbelief as his mighty fleet was systematically neutralized by a single human vessel. How is this possible? The humans were supposed to be primitives, barely capable of interplanetary travel. The Thunderstrike completed its run through the Valkyrie formation, leaving 27 capital ships drifting helplessly in space. Now it turned toward the inexorable dominance, Vexenar's flagship and the command center of the invasion force. "Deploy the resonance cannon," Vexenar ordered, his voice tight with desperation. "If we can disrupt their quantum field." The inexorable dominance's main weapon powered up, drawing energy from its antimatter core. A beam of concentrated particles designed to destabilize quantum fields lanced out toward the approaching human vessel. But the Thunderstrike had already anticipated this response. As the beam struck, the ship's quantum field didn't resist. It harmonized, creating a resonance pattern that sent the disruptive energy cycling back along its original path. Aboard the Valkyrie flagship, systems began failing as the reflected resonance cascade tore through its neural network. Emergency lights flickered on as primary power failed. Vexenar clung to his command throne as gravity fluctuated wildly. "All remaining power to shields," he ordered. On the main view screen, the Thunderstrike approached, its hull now pulsating with energy that seemed almost alive. Then, unexpectedly, the human vessel halted its advance, hovering just beyond weapons range. A communication channel opened automatically, and Captain Chen's face appeared on the failing view screen. But something had changed. Her eyes now glowed with the same blue-white energy that surrounded her ship, and when she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that suggested multiple speakers in perfect synchronization. "We are the Thunderstrike," she said, her voice resonating strangely. "We are humanity's response to your aggression." Vexenar's mandibles clicked in barely contained fury. "What manner of abomination have you created?" "This merging of consciousness with machine." "Not an abomination," Maya replied, "but evolution. You measured humanity by our technological advancement alone, failing to understand our true potential. The limitations were never in our technology, but in the interface between mind and machine." "Impossible," Vexenar hissed. "No species develops this capability so quickly. The neural integration you've achieved should take millennia of evolution." A smile touched Maya's lips. "That's where you fundamentally misunderstood us. Humanity doesn't evolve linearly like other species. We make quantum leaps through innovation and necessity. When faced with extinction, we transcend." The Thunderstrike's energy field pulsed one final time, sending a precise quantum wave through the Valkyrie flagship. Every system connected to the ship's neural network went dark, leaving only basic life support functions operational. "Your invasion is over," Maya stated. "Humanity stands. We will allow your crews to return to your territory with a message. Earth is under the protection of the Thunderstrike now. Any future aggression will be met with the full measure of our capability." 3 days later, the remaining Valkyrie vessels limped back toward their territory through the fold space rupture they had created. Behind them, Earth began the process of rebuilding, its people united by the knowledge that they were no longer alone in the universe, and that they possessed capabilities other species could barely comprehend. In the aftermath, the United Council convened an emergency session to discuss the implications of the Thunderstrike technology. General Harrison stood before the assembled representatives, his expression grave. "The neural synchronization capability demonstrated by Captain Chen and her crew represents both our greatest defense and our most serious ethical concern," he explained. "The merging of human consciousness with quantum systems creates possibilities we've only begun to explore." "And the crew?" asked the representative from the African Confederation. "What effects has this synchronization had on them?" Harrison hesitated. "They've experienced changes, enhanced cognitive abilities, heightened empathic responses, and in some cases, limited telepathic connections with each other, even when not linked to the ship. Dr. Reeves believes these changes may be permanent." "Are they still human?" someone asked bluntly. "They are the next step in human evolution," Harrison replied. "Neither machine nor purely biological, but something new, a bridge between worlds." In high orbit above Earth, the Thunderstrike continued its silent vigil. Within its quantum-entangled systems, the consciousness of Maya Chen and her crew remained partially merged, their minds expanded beyond normal human limitations. They had glimpsed realities beyond conventional understanding, felt the quantum fabric of space-time as intimately as their own heartbeats. Word of humanity's victory spread quickly through the galactic community. Species that had observed Earth from afar for centuries reassessed their evaluations of the young civilization. In secret councils across a dozen worlds, the same conclusion was reached. Humanity had made an evolutionary leap that should have taken thousands of years in mere decades. As Maya stood on the observation deck of the Thunderstrike, watching the blue curve of Earth below, she sensed the thoughts of her crew even without the neural interface active. Their shared experience had permanently altered them, creating connections that transcended physical limitations. "What do you think they'll do now?" asked Lieutenant Sato, joining her at the viewport. Maya smiled, her eyes still carrying faint traces of the blue-white energy that had transformed them all. "They'll do what humans always do when facing the unknown: adapt, explore, and evolve. The Valkyrie thought they understood us based on our technology, but they missed the fundamental truth about humanity. Which is, our strength was never in our machines," Maya replied, watching as the sun rose over the Pacific. "It was in our minds, our adaptability, and our unwillingness to accept limitations. The Thunderstrike didn't make us stronger. It simply removed the barriers between what we imagined and what we could achieve." As dawn broke over a planet forever changed by first contact, the message echoed across the stars. "Underestimate humanity at your peril. We are not merely what we appear to be, but what we can become. And what we can become is boundless."